Welcome back, everyone, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We got your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christenson, joining you from upstate New York. That's actually a chicken coop over my left shoulder. Mr. Molitor, joining me as always. How are you on this fine day? What's it like to be on a show with someone in a more rural place than you are?
Yeah, I am indoors. I am in a strip mall behind an abandoned Kmart. So you are very much more rural. I'm very urban, man. So I'm next to the like local Uber Eats that isn't Uber Eats. It's like our own, and a wig shop. That's where I'm at. So chicken coop sounds pretty
A wig
good.
shop.
A wig, yes, a wig shop. Well, the wig shop industry is booming in this part of town. But yeah,
Do you ever
I
go in there and play
digress.
around? Throw in
No,
some fun wigs?
oh, they're very strict COVID rules in there. So I just stick around in my little office, talk sports with you, hang out, and get the Olympics pumped up. And in fact, I have DirecTV out at the farm, and we had a bad storm last night. And I was watching swimming, and right as the second leg of like an individual medley goes by, it just craps out. I'm like, God. So I'm like trying to pull it up on my phone right away. It's sorry, DirecTV, but you are the nutlow when things get stormy. That said, I have watched a lot of Olympics lately, and I am excited. I brought this up on last night. I brought it up this morning. I'm not super hopeful, I guess, because I've been fooled before by NBC and Peacock. But the golf is supposed to start around supper time or dinner time for people that don't live around these parts. Like, if that's a thing that I can watch on like USA or CNBC, if they just put on the golf coverage after, like, I eat supper, I sit down and watch golf until I go to bed, like that's pretty solid. I would be all about that. Like, it's not like I don't watch golf
It makes
tournaments when they're
sense.
on here in the office in the morning, but nighttime golf sounds kind of good. So I'm kind of pumped up for this one. And you know what? And after this is done, there's a
If,
women's tournament too.
if I do the conversion right, yeah, if I do the conversion right, I think 6 p.m. your time's like 8 a.m. in the morning there, so that would make sense.
Yeah, no, it's they're just starting up right away in the morning. Once people wake up in Tokyo, they'll start playing some golf, and yeah, it'll be like evening here. So I'm pretty excited about that. I do have some bets. If you caught approaching the green last night, we had to switch things up a little. There's no cut line. I didn't find hole in one bet, so we took a page out of the swimming and just called it freestyle. Like, some of those categories, it just said, "Bam, honestly, bet whatever you want for that category. Find anything you want." So we just freestyled it, and we found a couple of fun bets. I found a couple I liked. I think this is Dan that is commenting in the comments, says Olympic golf is on the Golf Channel. Now I know you guys are just trolling me. Golf Channel doesn't show golf. That's hilarious. It'll just be Fairty, like Fairty over and over and over.
It's just people talking about
Yeah, people
golf.
talking about golf, and like here's a fluff piece about Pat Perez's dad again. Like, just 20 minutes of this, maybe a couple shots. But I did, regardless if I'm able to watch it or not, I did make some bets for round one. If you caught last night, I made one that was a first round leader bet, sort of. It was the Morikawa to be the first round leader and then also win the tournament. So it's like a super correlated parlay. So they're not giving you true parlay odds, but I believe it was 28-1. I didn't think that was horrible. Basically betting him first round leader and then hoping he can hold on in a short field with a bunch of people who probably don't have the chance to compete anyway. Essentially, it's like a 30-man field. This is like the tour finals with a bunch of guys from the US missing. So first rounders, though, I did take Hoshino over Schwab. Some of these guys, I had to do some digging to figure out exactly how they've been playing, because some of these, especially the lower end, some of these guys don't play on the regular tours. You got guys that play the Japanese tour. I think it's just called the Japan tour. You got guys who are playing the European tour pretty steadily. You got guys that bounce back and forth. The top names are the top names. I know plenty about them. But down the board a little, there are some names where I had to dig in and really figure out how their form was right now. Later this afternoon, I will have a blog out with some full tournament head-to-heads. I will take care of all that. If you caught the show Monday or Tuesday, I did have outrights. All of those outrights, I believe, have accrued some value at this point. I think they've all kind of tinkled their way down, which makes me feel a little
Love
better.
that.
almost got a couple last week, hit one the week before, so hopefully back for the Olympics. But some top 20 bets yesterday. I think I'm going to add the one that Pam had last night. I found an even better number on Johnny Vegas. But just 2 round one head-to-heads in Hoshino over Schwab at plus money, and then Sungjae. We bet on him a couple times last night. I'm going to bet on him again. Sungjae over Lowry. Yeah, I hate the narrative.
He's been there
and stuff.
practicing too, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he has
get the British thing.
He has taken this pretty seriously, and even throwing the narrative like, yes, he has to do well here stuff out. I make this a value play because they do have him priced as the dog in this outright, because the straddle on round by round matchups is pretty heavy. You ain't getting 10-cent lines here, guys. So that is actually an underdog price, and shop around. You might even be able to find up 105 on that. So M over Lowry, Hoshino over Schwab, and I'll have full tournament head-to-heads later on today in blog form on the BETSPERTS platform. I'll tweet it out too.
Love the golf. And yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be nice nighttime golf. Hopefully they can give it like its own channel, or you can go on the app and just watch it, because that'll be great. That'll definitely be
if it is on the golf channel, I'll be pretty pumped to sit down and just watch golf all night. But did you catch any of the women's quarterfinal action yesterday in the tennis tournament?
Went back and rewatched a little bit of it this morning. We went 1-0-1 on our bets. Miss Svitolina, who you'll see, we'll talk about it again here shortly a little bit, did win for us. And then our other woman retired there. Miss Bedosa lost the first set and retired 1-2 on futures. Pavlyuchenkova got the first set but could not hold on against Belinda Bencic. But Elena Rybakina, Andy, now into the semifinals. She's a solid favorite there, minus 175 or so to make the finals. So we got her at 25-1. Looks like it's doing pretty well. Knock on wood here. It looks like she's the favorite right now in live outright. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that gets us across the line. That's always fun.
Yeah, we need to have the Olympics more often. It just seemed too easy. Like you have a 25-1 that, and just the way this draw shook out was kind of funny. But yeah, 25-1 live favorite to win her semifinal match, be in the finals, and probably the favorite depending on how things go here in the 2 semifinal matches. I'm not hedging at all. I just don't.
No,
and even in the finals, I won't either. So we'll rebar. We'll ride her all the way. And looks like you have some action on the other side of the draw for, is this tonight, overnight? What time is this? Am I putting you on the spot there? I have no idea.
This is tonight. They just sort of keep going here. Yeah, they just sort of keep going here. And this is not a repeat, actually. This is actually basically what we bet yesterday. We're going to do it again. Miss Vondrasova advances due to that retirement. Again, I think the market's still giving her a little too much credit for her win over Osaka. Yes, she did win the last match, but again, Bedosa retired and quit. So still happy to play Svitolina. We're on slow hard courts, which is just great for her. And she's just in really nice form. She's playing good tennis, and I don't really see what Vondrasova can do to challenge her. I think we're also getting a little bit of value here, because if you go back and look at the head-to-hand, Andy, those can always be tricky, because the last time they played was in Rome, which is on clay, and Vondrasova kind of beat Svitolina up pretty good there. And bad position for Svitolina, not a good travel spot for her. She actually isn't very good on clay. So I think all these things are combining for people to maybe overvalue Vondrasova here. I have Svitolina closer to minus 165, almost minus 170 if I tweak some stuff here. So minus 145, minus 150, all looks good. Keep backing Elise Svitolina, Monfils.
Monfils. Yes. Go. What country is she from?
Ukraine.
The Ukraine. I wanted to say the Ukraine. God, I wish that was Russia still. I could use another Russian gold medal.
Wait, what? Do you want to go back to the USSR, or is this really what we're going to talk about?
I mean, it's the Russian Olympic Committee. Can't they grab some of those countries again and put them in with them just for medal purposes? Yeah, go Russian Olympic Committee. I need you to get a little bit more. Win total Wednesday. So this is going to come off weird. And I mean, you can just put the graphic up, Dan. Drew is, so I'm on vacation next week. Drew is actually on vacation starting tonight. Like, he's out of town. So the deep dive that you would be watching to talk about the Bills and Patriots has actually already happened. We already recorded it yesterday. It has happened in the past. We'll post it up this afternoon. It'll be up. Sorry, you can't join live. It will be posted this afternoon. So, like, I'm gonna speak about the Bills part of the deep dive in past tense because I've already talked about them. Drew and I already sat and talked about the Buffalo Bills for 45 minutes. Even though you've never heard it, seen it, it will be up and in podcast form, obviously, this afternoon too. But this was Drew and I kind of landed on this together. And I'm going to do some conversions because there's some 10.5s for the Bills as well at 150, 160. But I played a cheaper 11, and a lot of this is just based off the schedule and the continuity. We talked about this how many times a team turns it around, gets a quarterback playing really well, makes it to the conference championship, and then loses a coordinator. They didn't lose either coordinator. In fact, I don't think any of the teams that made the championship weekend lost any coordinators. It was a wild hiring cycle. We bring that up a little too, but they play at Kansas City, they play at Tampa Bay, and then the other 15 games are very much winnable. Like not just winnable, but there's some just gimmies on there. They're over a touchdown favorite, or they're like a 6 point or more favorite in like 10 games. And that you don't win all of them. There's always weirdness in the NFL schedule, but I'm really, really struggling to find a worst case scenario where they have 6 losses. Like all of my worst case scenarios are, you know, a 4 loss team essentially. Like I do think this team will be very good. We talked about this too a little. I saw a coach of the year number 18-1 for their coach, and I talked to Drew about that. I'm like, what? Like, is that just the price for them to win the 1 seed? Like they just beat Kansas City in that spot in Kansas
Yeah.
City, they get the 1 seed and he gets it because it's hard to win coach of the year when the expectations are already so high. So I'm staying away from that. I wish it were a higher number, but yeah, just go through the schedule. You can find it. Drew posted, or well, and we will have it posted here once we get this podcast up. You can see the schedule graphic that Drew makes for all the teams. But just off the bat, they played 3 of their first 4 games. They're 6 or more point favorites. They have a stretch in the middle of the season where they're 7, 6.5, 7, 6 point favorites, and then late in the year they're a 9, 8, and 6.5 point favorite in 3
Yeah.
of their last 4 games. I mean, there's just so many games that are going to be a touchdown fave, and it's just kind of a don't overthink it. This team kept a lot of continuity. Hopefully the Beasles thing gets sorted out and we take this to the bank. I think worst case scenario is a push on this. So, and
Yeah, I was going to ask you in general, with the extra game on the schedule, have you seen some resistance and almost more value in some of these bigger numbers? Because people might still be coming at this with the mindset of 11-5. Wow, that's a really great season. But 11-6, I mean, it obviously it frames it up a lot more different. And I wonder if there is kind of like a big number bias thing that people just haven't adjusted mentally yet.
And I think that's why I approached it from a losses standpoint, because the wins, like a 10-win season, an 8-8 season, all that stuff is so anchored in your mind, and you have these anchoring biases about some of those numbers. So I just started approaching it from a losses standpoint. Like 11 wins means 6 losses. And I really, really, really struggled to find scenarios where if you lose the Tampa and the Kansas City game, no, that's no sweat off my ass. Like those are tough games against the 2 Super Bowl contending teams from last year at their houses, and then at Tennessee, at New Orleans, and then from there, like your next toughest games are at New England and at Miami. It is really just tough for me to find the 6 losses. So yeah, 11-6 feels like the absolute floor. Obviously, a Josh Allen injury and this one goes to hell. But that's kind of what you risk anytime you're betting an over
Yeah.
in the NFL. That's why I'm going to lean more on under. So somebody in the
I
chat
like the way
says
you said it.
Bills.
Thinking about the losses makes more sense.
Yeah, I tried to approach it kind of backwards there. And then Kellen here in the chat says Bills, Chiefs, Bucks parlay to win the division. Who ruins this for me? Deshaun Watson? Like if Watson ends up in Denver with all those young receivers, I mean, I'd probably just wait. I'm sketched out about playing anything in the AFC West as long as the Broncos are trying to add a quarterback, because like Teddy Bridgewater isn't winning that division. Drew Lock
No.
isn't winning that division. Justin Herbert, that team could make a big step forward, but yeah, the Bills and Bucks should probably win their divisions pretty handily. I like a little parlay action though. So
I don't hate that.
what day is it today? Is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Win Total Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's right on the screen. So we're at like
That's good.
36. Oh yeah, I think Dan put it in the damn description. 36 hours to the draft. We're in the fourth quarter. That's what VR
We're
says
there.
right now. We are in the fourth quarter here. We're not going
We
to add
are.
too many more spots, but things
Just one.
really, it was clear as mud 2 weeks ago, but things are starting to shape up, sharpen up. And yeah, you've got another ad for the draft tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, things are really starting to shape up. That's kind of what we see, 10, 14 days out, you hear whispers and things are starting to get stronger. For those of you that are looking to do kind of fun things like exactas or superfectas, the superfecta we did yesterday looking much better. So got some favor there.
Yeah.
It's the first 3 picks unless something absolutely insane happens, which again, I can't come up with any reason. That's not going to be Cunningham, then Green, then Mobley. I mean, those are your first 3 picks. Kind of work your way from there. But today's ad, we're going to be looking at Isaiah Jackson, someone who's been kind of falling here in the recent drafts. He had been as low as 18 in some of these spots. He was even 12 in like a CBS draft like a week ago, but starting to see him pop up at 21, 22, 23, 24 all over the place. His average draft position in mocks now is 20. There is an older mock that still has him at 18, but regardless of all that, really like his over here. Over 18 and a half looks really nice to me. Put minus 150 up here. There is a little better number to poke around, but minus 150 is fine here. I think we're looking at someone who's going in the 20s. So over 18 and a half here on Isaiah Jackson for one more draft prop, and then we'll put together kind of a recap tomorrow, see how we're doing on everything. I know we have a guest tomorrow. We'll try to save maybe 5 minutes for the end there, put up what we've got, try to see maybe what the market lines are, and see if maybe we see how we're doing. Hopefully, feeling positive going into the draft.
I think I'm feeling pretty positive. And yes, as Mr. Noops has alluded to, we will have a guest, someone coming on talking. We have Gold Cup semifinals, Qatar and
Right.
the US. And what is it? Canada, just Canada, Mexico, right?
I think so.
Yeah, all the big countries, the 3 most populous countries from CONCACAF and Qatar, naturally. So we are in the Gold Cup does not get the fanfare of the Euros. I don't think it gets the fanfare of the South American one. In fact, the Cup of Africa or whatever is more fun than this because there's so many other countries that are near the same population. But yeah, we will talk about the semifinals. There's some good betting opportunities there. I believe the finals will be this weekend then. So looking for Qatar and Mexico to go at it this weekend. But we'll talk semifinals tomorrow. Frank will be on for a Baseball Friday. Like you said, we'll do a draft bet recap before we get into the draft tomorrow. We'll probably have some, what's the nice part about golf this week? Golf will be over. Like the round will be over. I can sit and talk about some round 2 plays tomorrow, some round 3
Nice.
plays on Friday. I'll be at the airport on Saturday, but I'll probably just sit there and type some stuff up yet. So I'll have some golf stuff. And yeah, before we go, we do have to thank our sponsor, WynnBET, who has a $500 risk-free bet, like always, for new accounts. You can find the sign-up link in the pinned tweet at Brown Bag Bets. If you want a Yeti, you can still get a Yeti. We're giving Yetis away still, probably for another week or so. If you take advantage of the risk-free bet, you can just send us over a screenshot of that bet slip, and I'll send you a 30-ounce Rambler, custom laser etched white Yeti, just for you. It's right there on the screen. You can see the picture. It is beautiful. So, and some fun announcements next week. So yeah, look for the deep dive later tonight. It'll be posted up on YouTube and obviously in podcast form. And again, thank you for joining us. Thanks for anybody who watched, listened, or hung out, and have a good day.
See you.